And we are live. Welcome to episode 26 of Web Vision's podcast. My name is Shlomo. This is my co-host Vic.
Hello,
Hi, Vic.
hello.
How are you doing today?
Episode 26.
Yeah,
Doing
excited.
pretty well. The very packed week of news releases and everything before the summer holidays. Everyone tried to mark up their little bonus a little bit.
Right. Just kind of pump the stocks a little by launching a couple things at the at the end of the quarter.
Absolutely, like Apple did, by the way.
Yep. Let's talk about it. Let's just go straight into it. We got this week. We're just going to go into a bunch of AI and a couple blockchain things that, like he was just saying, things are just launching quick. So I know you're into the new OS, right? Where they said there's AI stuff, and I know you keep
Yeah.
talking about app intents. What exactly is that about app intents?
This is absolutely amazing stuff. So, as you know, there are a lot of things to automate the applications in iOS right now, and it's called the shortcuts. Okay, but it's pretty much simple, limited, and useless. With these facilities, Apple provide a very cool feature to automate using the AI when you don't have to pretty much narrow down what exactly action you have to take in this application. You can just direct it like you direct Siri on your mobile phone. Okay. So
All right.
it would allow to interact with the app intentionally without very deep level of programming. So support of this live intents is intelligent intents is very interesting in order to automate stuff like apply new preset to photo, do
Okay, so
this.
we already had this though. I could already batch preset my photos. What is something that you're saying would be is exciting now to do, and how would we do that in this new stuff?
Because this is a developer feature and it will be applied through the applications more and more in order
Okay,
to make the interactions with these applications natural. Okay,
right.
not
So this is
declarative like your
basically a
favorite one.
developer kit. This is
Yes.
basically a developer kit. I'm already working on I'm making mobile apps on iOS, right? And now this is just
Mhm.
one more thing I could tie into the phone to help my application, right? So it's not just photos. It's Are you saying so? I'll be able to open up my Google Docs app on my phone and start rattling columns out and things into the cells and just do it that way? Are you saying it'll be that effortless?
We need to see what they will allow to do with this API, but it's very interesting and it will be a very different level of automation from what I can assume from the description from this keynote. The second thing which I really liked from Apple's presentation is the UX approach, where they integrated or brought very cool way to bring this mid journey to consumer. When you don't have to play with the prompts, you just toss a little bit of styles, and it makes quite cool pre-trained presets to generate these new images, like personalized dynamic avatars, which really we
Right.
need in our day-to-day communication.
I have
Nobody
not
needs
looked at
like
this.
mid journey.
I have not seen this yet. This is pretty cool. And it definitely putting my what do they call it? Memojis, right? That personal
Yeah,
avatar on iOS. Memojis mixed with Mid Journey or whatever they're using in this. I mean, it's a no brainer. That's pretty
no
awesome.
brainer.
Vic, just gonna say, so do you have an Apple phone or are you an Android? What sort of personal phone do you have?
I have both, of course, but I'm like I first met with Apple ecosystem in 1999. Okay, with Mac OS 7, as far as I remember, or 7.5, probably 7.
Yeah.
And it was time of Windows 3.1, and I fell in love into the macOS aesthetic and UI and everything like that. It was so brilliant, especially running SimCity on the macOS. It was like mind blowing, absolutely.
Yes.
So, and I'm full into Mac since 2005. So it's almost 20 years. So that's my
Yep.
um,
I'm
like.
just curious. Have you actually sat down and made an emoji on your iPhone?
Look, I never used the messages. I never used housing. I've
I
paid.
use all that crap. This is the
No,
yin
no,
and
no.
yang of you and I, right? Like you being the CTO and me, a strategy marketing community guy. I of course had to play with the emoji. My face is of course the poop emoji, like every dumbass would do. And my poop emoji sends out texts to my family, and it's super annoying. And now they accept it, like because it's not changing.
Yes, but for me personally, I don't use the iMessage feature, which you use through the FaceTime, etc., purely from security reasons.
Right.
And so this is like an aspect which I'd like to maintain as strict as possible. So that's why I don't use this.
I love that you brought up security right now. Me personally, si- any sort of privacy is dead, but that is different than security. Privacy and security are two different things, right? And so I'm with you. Like privacy is the government knows what's in my bank account and where I'm walking. I can't stop that, but security is making sure people don't drain my bank account by airdropping or whatever that you could do on the phone, right?
Absolutely. Recently, there was zero day exploit targeted to the Mac devices.
Yep,
And the vector they used was the iMessage and some very, very old PostScript files with exploits. And it was widely used in a live environment, so come on.
yep. And then that leads us to one thing they announced. Apple has announced that instead of building their own AI Siri, they're teaming up with OpenAI. I mean, and using them, which already feels like that'll be a security problem. Oh my God, my phone it heard the name Siri and is now talking. Um, so OpenAI already had like their security people have already left like 2 weeks ago, and now they have this Apple deal, right? This makes now my Apple phone will be pinging non-Apple servers with all of my phone information. Actually gets me a little security nervous.
You're right. um, you know, Apple tried to deploy cloud compute and AI into the consumer devices. You heard about this. They tried to play in three layers, like on-device intelligence, then Apple Cloud, and verified computable environments where they isolate and run only audited code on those servers, cloud servers, which interacts with data you upload. And probably they also will call ChatGPT for the user approved data request or something when you ask Siri, like, and Siri can't serve this request due to low intelligence or limited data set or whatever. Siri, Siri, it's dumb as I don't know,
Right.
something. So they probably will need your consent to send this data to ChatGPT. The most interesting part of this, though, is Apple and OpenAI ink the deal when nobody pays each other. So Apple consumes OpenAI ChatGPT for free,
Right.
and also ChatGPT doesn't pay Apple for these services.
Right.
The reason
Because they're getting us. We are the product.
we are the product. Now, the reason is different. Right now, large language models providers lacks data. So they went to a limit of, like publicly available data sets. And to make models more intelligent, they need much more data. This is why all this deals with Reddit, with um, Quora, and other user-generated content providers.
which ended up
Okay.
bringing junk data into our search, like literal junk data.
Yeah, yeah. Look, we as a humans, okay, as a humans, and I call this wetware driven bodies, wetware, the brain.
Yep.
So we interact with much more data than any computer, your laptop or something has, because we interact with the real world, okay, with touches, movements. All this body mechanic is also very hard. So the information flow is very intensive through our brain, and it also enhances our mind system. And the language model which we speak is very limited throughput. You see,
Right.
like, so this is it. So this is why these AI providers or AI infrastructure providers need as much data as possible, like a couple of order of magnitudes more than they have right now. So this is why they OpenAI was probably, like very happy inking this deal to get as much live
Absolutely.
data
The
as
only the
possible.
only other ones making this much data is Google and Meta, right? Like
Meta,
Meta threw
exactly.
AI all over their services. We even have something about WhatsApp, right? Like, let's just jump to that article right now, just
Oh
because
yeah,
that we're just moving to this where WhatsApp Meta is putting AI into WhatsApp for B2B. So in other countries, like non-American countries, just making sure, depending who's listening, that WhatsApp in B2B land is huge outside of America. It is
yeah.
there, where in America we may play around with, let's say, Telegram and other services. They triple down on WhatsApp in B2B. There's a lot of apps in WhatsApp to facilitate B2B connections, right? And now they took Meta. They said we really want the B2B situation and their AI to help with customer service. Obviously, that makes sense. I think Meta is working super hard in owning the customer service space in AI more than any other company. Um, and that's kind of cool, actually. It'd be really weird if Zuck does something right instead of just stealing. That'd be insane.
But there is one more huge silo of data, which is really interesting for the um, like say AGI, generic AI, okay, to train the AGI. So this is the YouTube by itself, because there is a huge data sets of videos, YouTube,
Oh, yep.
and Google has like very big benefit and advantage here, owning
Yes.
all this data.
Yep. Did I add that article to our list about how they are indexing video? I just
Yeah,
recently, yes, this MIT. You are hitting points on the list. We keep a doc of things we see through the week, and he's hitting them like magic. These MIT folks and a couple other folks, IBM, that's what it is. MIT and IBM took video
yeah.
and threw AI in it, and now, as this says, shows you how to cook a pancake, which is a typical YouTube video, right? And how-to cooking video.
Mhm.
And so now, when you say, "How do I cook a pancake?" it's going to go automatically. It's going to differentiate when you're putting batter in a pan to when you're making batter to when you're plating. You'll be able to go that specific where their AI is reading the actual video data. It's not being told. Like a lot of it right now on search, if you go on Google search and you do the video, you're going to do chapter markers because the creator made those chapter markers. That's not AI, right? This
Yeah.
is no chapter markers. AI watches the video and says that's the part where you make batter, and that's the only part you want, and I'll pull it straight out. Is magic. That is actual like Star Trek level. I love it.
Yeah, so let me show the recent work which was published by in the same field, Microsoft, MIT, Google, Oxford. So this is probably the same guys.
Right.
Um, that's the technical details. So
Look at that. Gotta love
they can predict or describe the scenes based on the audio uh, language, like which describe the what's around. So they can segment the features, make the index, and allow you to search something very fast to
it. Yeah.
this, probably.
So I know everyone likes Gen AI, but that never interests me as much as this sort of stuff, right? Where this is real AI of taking the world and indexing it in various ways to help us parse it and utilize it and build with it is much different than the things we've been talking about for the past 15, 20 minutes of, we are the product spewing Reddit into our Google searches and scared of what servers all of our data is going to for these large LLMs, right? It's like funny when I think about Gen AI, that actually bothers me in all those levels. But when I look at actual AI, right, this sort of stuff, I guess this is still kind of a machine learning situation, right? Is pretty effing cool to me. That's just how I feel in life.
Well, yes, and this is why Apple took a little bit different approach to run as much models as possible locally on device, and this is super cool because it really step aside and differentiate Apple from Microsoft, for example. And this is why I liked Apple from
Yeah.
and still use their devices. Okay. Um, however, I'm pretty much excited about possibilities of Gen AI, generative AI,
Uh huh.
especially like in text interactions, because my capabilities accelerated. I don't know, like 10 or 20 times than I was uh, able to produce the text before.
True.
Like a developer.
And that is cool. And I am with you. This is stuff we always knew was coming, though. So
Yeah.
to me, it's almost like I knew toasters were going to be invented, and all of a sudden the toaster's here. It just makes so that maybe that I don't hate it. Like it's just so blasé. It's like, of course, we are going to make our vacuum overlords. Like, we. This is like when I was graduating high school in '89. Right, they were teaching typing, and at home is where we had the Apple IIe. Right. Well, now the word processor, all of a sudden, 2 years later after that, was everywhere. No one was typewritering anymore. Right. No one knows
Yeah.
how to typewriter that same way anymore. They just type on computers and they barely know how to type. Right. And this is that next level, and I'm totally all with it and into it. It's just so still like whatever to me. I'm sorry. Um, but any clients? We know what we're doing. I've built chatbots for the last 6 years. We at Visible Magic do a lot of great work in the Gen AI work, but my passions are in other places.
Well, I respect this. Speaking of Gen AI, by the way,
Yes,
uh, the newest release, which you
there we
sent me.
go.
Yep.
I have not tried this out. What brought this up to my attention yesterday was a friend of mine's a musician. He did. He tried to. He made his AI music record and all the music videos he made from Dream Machine, and I never heard of it. And I thought his imaging was really good, as you could see here, right? And what he was able to do is this thing exports. He didn't pay for anything. He would just keep making new free accounts, and he would export the 4 second videos, and as he says, hundreds that he would do right under his themes, and then he put them all in iMovie and just start cutting them up the way he wanted to, of these 4-second things, right? They were all in thematics to what his music was. And like I said, the music was AI, where he went to 3 different services and then brought them into GarageBand. Nothing special, nothing like expensive. And he made his new album with all the music videos. I would show him, except I didn't get permission, and I think his stuff is a little too angry for our audience, but too violent. But I was really into the work, and like this speaks to what you're saying about Gen AI and what's important about it, and I'm totally all with that. One thing I want to get on here is a prompt engineer. I've been everybody on LinkedIn says they're an effing prompt engineer. Everyone loves to say and coach fucking, excuse my language, effing prompt engineering, and how they're making the greatest effing things, and like as if they're big time Fortran programmers writing pages and pages of prompt scripting, like where the bridge is and where the this is, and like F you, I don't believe you. I've been searching on LinkedIn uh, big to get a prompt engineer who could prove that they do that stuff. I've yet to see it. What this means is everyone can be a prompt engineer if they want to be, and I hope you do. We at Visible Magic, I think we are all prompt engineers, and sometime, you know what I mean. Like it's just, I guess that's really my Gen uh, AI rant. It really effing bothers me, those folks.
Yeah, I
If
feel
anyone
you.
listening to this and says they're a prompt engineer, you're invited to come on here, show us your work, show us your prompts, and show us all how awesome it is that you get paid to do it. Done.
Yeah. And by the way, have you read the recent article on our podcast? And you read, yeah, and you left a few comments and said like it was cool.
I rewrote it a little. I took out some of the
Just tiny, yeah,
what?
just tiny little piece, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fine, but those sort of articles are all over the internet, but going unchecked. At least ours, we just had this. What he's talking about is all of our podcasts, most of the time has an article for SEO to throw it in the world and to do it in description of YouTube and for LinkedIn to just to get, do our marketing due diligence in life. Welcome to being a good, healthy company. And so we have ChatGPT help with the article, and I just kind of now come in. It's like we cannot have these words that are so ChatGPT ish, and we just cut them out, and it's much happier. ChatGPT,
Exactly.
ChatGPT is like that junior high kid getting a B in English, where they're writing a 2-page essay, and by the end they just kind of quit. I always feel the ending of ChatGPTs like is literally they quit and chose just to put up words and not really read it. That's how I feel. But maybe that's the
from
LLMs. Are,
from my experience, this is the difference between good prompt and bad prompt, because when you can carefully and thoroughly explain what exactly you would need from
yeah,
your style article, etc., it needs a lot of work to understand your domain area. Okay, but when you've done this stuff and you got the prompt finally, it's just like a different level of engineering, and that it's
period.
actually a level of management when you manage like very dumb, uh, broad, you know, set of workers which you need to manage, arrange, and get the result from.
Yep,
It's not a directive coding, which we or like decoding per se like it is. It's more like a management. So this is why what I like a lot from this ChatGPT evolution at this point of time, because we can make a lot of remote workers which are fine-tuned and specialized in some specific domain areas like marketing, like coding, like I don't know. But I like marketing a lot because it helps tremendously. So that was really impossible 2 years ago. Right
sure.
now,
Here's the thing: what ChatGPT does for me, who writes, me who has to engage on a human level on the internet to customers, right? is it gets me on that piece of content from 0 to 1. That is the
Yeah.
hardest part of content. Now, once you're at 1 and you're doing editing and refining and growing, that is actually easier. Going from 1 to finish is easier than going from 0 to 1. And ChatGPT is the 0 to 1 of like, God damn it, I just cannot make my head get it out on the blank page. The tyranny of the blank page was a thing I used to say all the time. Like the blank page is a battlefield and painful because you're just trying to get anything out and you know what you're writing is going to be horrible, but you got to get through it. Well, now you have ChatGPT do the horrible, and now you could free yourself to make it better. And that's actually an empowering thing. I'm all in on these things, even on a philosophical level like that. With that, I think we should stop. We're at the minute 27. We didn't even go. This is our talking about Chat GPT, AI, security, and all of this stuff. Our actual feelings about it in our own workplace. Because let's be honest, Vic here is saying how he likes it in marketing, and I'm marketing, and that just like is getting rid of me in a second. He's literally wondering how he's going to shave my hours out so he could just have the computer write all my crap and I could be like 12 hours a week. And now I'm just like this pitiful little like quarter time employee. I see where Vic is. Vic, what should people do? We are on YouTube and we are on LinkedIn and we are on Spotify. What should people do?
Shlomo, just a few notes. Okay, I'm not into this way of thinking. While I want to utilize ChatGPT for very different things, which I was impossible to do before. Okay,
I know.
it extremely enhanced my tool set by the analysis, by creating the content. It helps me tremendously. So before it was nearly impossible to make the quality which
Yeah.
I want. Because, for example, to have a good writer who can write craft an article, okay, which is
Mhm.
good enough to be published, it's a very painful process to,
Yeah.
to get the person
Absolutely.
on board.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And this way of freedom, goddamn, I cannot even dream about this 2 years ago. So, on this note, please click like, subscribe, and see you on the next episode.
Much love. See you soon. See you next week.
See you.